Luke Burgis, Wanting, The Power of Mimetic Desire, and How to Want What You Need. Prepare to embark on a journey into the realm of desire, uncovering the far-reaching influence of mimetic desire on human behavior. In Wanting, The Power of Mimetic Desire, and How to Want What You Need, author Luke Burgis explores the fascinating intricacies of mimesis, a hidden force that drives us to imitate others in our lives. From relationships to social media to our career choices, mimetic desire shapes who we are and what we want. This summary will guide you through key concepts of the book, showcasing how mimesis creates sameness, rivalry, imitative cycles, and how businesses manipulate our desires. You will also learn how to liberate yourself from mimetic cycles and choose more fulfilling, authentic desires.
The hidden force behind our desires. The author, Luke Burgis, shares his experience of being tangled in a web of mimetic desire in his book. He explains that our desires are not spontaneous but mediated by models, causing sameness and intense rivalry. In his case, Tony C. became a powerful model, and the author forgot what drove him to start his company in the first place. Understanding mimesis is the first step in gaining power over it, Burgis says. The power of models. Social media has become the most significant platform for mimesis. It presents us with billions of models accessible in the palm of our hands, dictating our desires and decisions. The key to diminishing their power is by identifying and naming them. Sometimes, mimesis is harmless, like when we choose a drink based on a friend's preference. However, it can turn us into a pawn of mimesis when we start imitating someone in a mirrored way. Edward Bernays, a 20th-century PR guru, used mimesis to his advantage by asking doctors to recommend bacon and eggs for breakfast. To take control of our desires, we need to identify and name our models, even if it means identifying our mimetic rivals. Understanding the influence of models on our desires. The book explores the impact of models on our desires and how their proximity to us can affect our emotions, behavior, and social interactions. Models that exist in Celebristan, a world beyond our reach, are external mediators of desire, and we don't feel threatened by them. In contrast, those residing in Freshmanistan, our immediate social world, create internal mediators of desire, leading to intense competition and strife. The negative cycle of reflexivity in Freshmanistan distorts our perceptions and creates self-defeating cycles that can be dangerous. The rivalry between East and West Coast rappers in the 1990s is a stark example of how mimetic rivalries can end in tragedy. The book emphasizes that understanding the power and influence of models on our desires is crucial for personal growth and healthy social interactions. From tractors to supercars. Ferruccio Lamborghini's journey from fixing car clutches to starting his own luxury car brand. Ferruccio Lamborghini, a successful tractor manufacturer in Italy, once had a bad experience with his Ferrari. After several unsuccessful attempts by the Ferrari factory to fix the clutch, Lamborghini's own mechanics discovered that the clutch in the luxury car was the same one used in his own tractors. This led him to create his own luxury vehicle, one that would surpass Ferrari's. Lamborghini's success in producing a car that outperformed Ferrari's highest-performing road car led stars like Frank Sinatra and Miles Davis to prefer Lamborghinis. However, Lamborghini refused to produce a true racing car out of his intuition about the consequences of mimetic rivalry. He didn't want his teenage son to get attracted to the competition of racing wars. By renouncing his rivalry with Ferrari, the crisis never spiraled out of control. This teaches us to consider the consequences of mimetic rivalry, unfollow people who cause such rivalries, and stop viewing them as a threat to be much happier. The power and danger of scapegoating. In ancient Greece, when a crisis occurred, the community selected a pharmakos to serve as a scapegoat. This person would be punished and publicly humiliated to release social tension and return to harmony. René Girard believed that this mechanism is the only way a mimetic crisis can end. However, scapegoating can lead to injustice and division, as seen in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. While we now recognize the foolishness of using a scapegoat, claiming victim status can still lead to power imbalances. We must be aware of both the power and danger of scapegoating. Exiting toxic mimetic systems. Sébastien Bras, a renowned French chef, exited the Michelin system after realizing that it was dictating his goals. Mimetic systems are artificial and binding, making individuals strive for unfulfilling goals. The U.S. educational system is an example of this. To combat this influence, individuals can project themselves onto their deathbeds before making a decision. Bras made a choice that allowed him to express his creativity through food and leave him feeling fulfilled. Boosting West Africa's image. Yolil Foods, co-founded by Senegalese chef Pierre Thiam, is on a mission to import and introduce fonio and other West African ingredients to the U.S. market. By promoting West African produce, Thiam hopes to boost the region's image on a global scale. The key message here is that business leaders have a responsibility to shape people's desires positively. They should strive for transcendent leadership and avoid imminent leadership. This can be achieved by centering the organization's mission around external, transcendent goals and promoting truth within the organization. The power of empathy. The book suggests practicing empathy to understand other people's experiences without losing one's individuality. Empathy disrupts mimetic crises and initiates positive cycles of desire. Cultivating empathy can be achieved by listening to others' fulfillment stories. By sharing these stories, one can better understand another person's inner life and refocus on fulfilling thick desires instead of thin ones. Practicing empathy can provide the freedom to oppose destructive desires. Transforming desire. American culture has become more mimetic, leading to rising tensions and stagnation in innovation. Instead of creating new art, we rehash old material. The big four tech companies are engineering our desires, mining our data to tell us what to want. To create a better future, we must shift away from engineering desire to transforming it. This means promoting healthy relationships, particularly with our children, and focusing on thick desires rather than thin desires for status, money, or objects. We should identify our greatest desire and let our lesser desires transform into ways of serving it. We don't need to renounce all models, just choose the right ones to allow them to transform us.
In conclusion, Wanting, The Power of Mimetic Desire, and How to Want What You Need, illustrates the substantial impact of mimesis on our lives and desires, while offering valuable insights on how to break free from its influence. By understanding the role of models in our lives, the importance of practicing empathy, and the dangers of unfulfilling, artificial goals, we can transform our desires in a positive way. By adopting transcendent leadership, working on healthy relationships, and focusing on our most significant, authentic desires, we can attain freedom from manipulative forces and find genuine fulfillment in our pursuits. Let the knowledge gained from this summary empower you to take control of your desires and tread on the path towards a more meaningful, content life.